Something is not right in your environment. And I want to begin there with that simple, direct, completely honest statement. Because what came through when I opened this energy for Virgo today was not comfortable. It was not the kind of reading that arrives wrapped in warmth and reassurance and the gentle unfolding of good things approaching. What arrived was a warning, clear, specific, delivered with the insistence of something that needs to be heard rather than simply something that wants to be said. Someone in your world is working against you, not passively, not simply someone who does not wish you well in the abstract, vague way that envy sometimes operates, actively, with intention, with a specific agenda that involves the diminishment of something in your life, whether that is your reputation, your relationships, your opportunities, your peace of mind, or some combination of all of these things simultaneously. This is not a comfortable message to deliver, but it is a necessary one because the specific quality of protection that comes from knowing that something is happening around you is categorically different from the vulnerability of not knowing. And Spirit brought this through today because you deserve to know, to see clearly, to stop navigating a landscape that has been more complicated than it appeared because someone has been operating in it without your awareness. Let me speak to how this came through, because the mechanism of the message matters. I sat down to open Virgo energy today, and what arrived was not the usual gathering of impressions. It was an alertness. The specific heightened quality of awareness that your own body produces when something in your environment is not safe. That quality that makes the hair on the back of your neck rise before the conscious mind has identified what triggered it. Spirit triggered it for you on your behalf. Because the awareness that something is off in your energetic environment is something you deserve to have, even when the source of the something is deliberately concealing itself from your direct perception, because that is the specific skill of the person this reading is about: concealment. The ability to operate in a way that does not immediately reveal its true nature, to present one face while carrying another, to exist in your world in a capacity that suggests safety while functioning in a way that is anything but safe. I want to speak to who this person is because their energy is coming through, and I want to describe it with the accuracy it deserves. This is not a stranger. That is the first and perhaps most significant thing Spirit wants me to communicate about them. The danger in this reading does not come from someone outside your world who has no connection to your life. It comes from within your circle, from someone who has proximity, access, the specific earned or assumed position of being close enough to you that what they do carries the weight of someone whose actions actually affect you. They know you. Not superficially. They have enough real knowledge of how you operate, what matters to you, where you are most invested, who you trust and why, to be able to work against you with a precision that a stranger could not achieve. And they have been using that knowledge not in service of your well-being, in service of their own agenda, which is in direct conflict with yours. What drives them is something I feel clearly. Envy is the foundation of it. The specific, corrosive, cannot stand watching someone have what I do not have quality of envy that does not simply produce sadness in the person who carries it, but produces action, directed action against the source of the envy. You are the source of their envy, Virgo. Something about you, what you carry, what you are building, who you are becoming, the quality of what people around you see when they see you, has activated in this person a response that they have been directing against you with more organization and more sustained effort than you currently know. Spirit is showing me specifically what this person has been doing, and I want to be careful to deliver this accurately. There is a narrative, a story that has been constructed about you, not the truth of who you are, which anyone who has genuinely encountered you and paid genuine attention knows a distorted version. A version that has been carefully assembled from pieces of real information, real things about you that have been taken out of context or selectively emphasized or interpreted through a lens that serves this person's agenda rather than the truth of your character. This narrative has been distributed not widely and not loudly, quietly, in the specific, strategic, targeted way that someone who understands how social dynamics work operates when they want to damage someone's standing without the damage being traceable back to them. They have been placing pieces of this distorted story in the right ears, the ears that have influence over things that matter to you, the ears that once they receive this information, form impressions that then affect how they relate to you or what they offer you or how they speak about you to others. You have felt the effects of this without fully understanding the source. Moments where something felt slightly off in an interaction that you could not pin down. A subtle shift in how someone who previously seemed warm is now engaging with you. An opportunity that seemed to be moving in your direction and then quietly stopped moving without a clear explanation. These are not coincidences. They are symptoms. Does this feel like it is connecting to something you have been sensing, Virgo? Has there been a low-level awareness that something in your environment is not quite as it appears? A specific interaction or a specific person whose energy has felt slightly off, whose behavior has had an inconsistency you have noticed without fully naming? Let me know in the comments. I want to know how this is landing. I want to speak to what this person fears, because understanding what motivates someone who is working against you is as important as understanding what they are doing, and what this person fears about you is specific. They fear your success, not as a general concept, but as a specific imminent reality. They sense, and their sensing is accurate even if they wish it were not, that you are on the edge of something significant. That what you have been building quietly and consistently and with the specific Virgo dedication that does not require external validation to sustain itself is approaching a point of visible expression that is going to be undeniable. And undeniable success for you means something very specific to them. It means the removal of the advantage they have been holding over you, the advantage of your potential being invisible, of you operating below the level of full recognition, of the gap between what you are and what the world around you understands you to be remaining large enough that they can continue to define you to the people around you before you define yourself. Once your success becomes undeniable, that advantage disappears. Once what you are doing speaks for itself at a volume that their narrative cannot compete with, their agenda loses its effectiveness. And they know this. And the knowledge of it is what is driving the urgency of what they are doing. They are operating with urgency, Virgo, because they sense they are running out of time. Inhale with me. I want to speak to something that I feel is the most important thing in this entire reading. More important than what this person is doing. More important than what they fear. More important than the specific tactics they have been employing. Your protection, because Spirit did not bring this reading to frighten you or to send you into a defensive crouch or to cause you to view your entire environment with suspicion that undermines your ability to move forward. Spirit brought this reading to give you awareness, and awareness is protection. Let me be specific about what that protection looks like. The first layer of protection is discernment. Your extraordinary Virgo ability to read situations and people accurately when you let it operate without interference, to notice what does not add up, to feel the specific quality of inauthenticity in an interaction even when you cannot immediately identify what is producing it. This discernment has been trying to flag this situation. It has been sending signals. The protection is in giving those signals the serious attention they deserve rather than dismissing them in favor of the more comfortable interpretation. The second layer of protection is your integrity, the specific quality of who you are when you are fully yourself, operating from your actual values and your actual character. This is your most powerful protection against a false narrative because it produces a constant, visible, undeniable counter-narrative. Every interaction you have from your authentic center is evidence that contradicts what is being said about you, and evidence accumulated over time is more powerful than any deliberately constructed story. The third layer of protection is connection, the specific, genuine relationships in your life with people who actually know you, who have had enough real experience of who you are to hold a firm impression of you that is resistant to the kind of distortion this person is attempting. These people are your protection. And nurturing these relationships, being fully yourself within them, is the most important thing you can do in response to what is happening around you. I want to speak to what you should not do, because sometimes knowing what to avoid is as valuable as knowing what to pursue. Do not confront this person directly without full information. What I am describing is someone who is skilled at concealment. A direct confrontation without the specific, verifiable, undeniable information to support it gives them the opportunity to turn the confrontation itself into part of their narrative about you, to present your awareness of what they are doing as evidence of exactly what they have been saying about you. Do not contract in fear. Do not pull back from your life or your work or your relationships in response to the awareness that something is operating against you. Contraction is exactly what this person needs from you. A diminished version of you is easier to define. A fully expressed, fully present, fully yourself Virgo is much harder to contain within a distorted narrative. Do not share this reading widely or use it as a basis for accusation. Let it inform your awareness and your discernment without it becoming the organizing principle of your interactions. And do not give this person more of your energy than they deserve, which is considerably less than they are currently receiving. Let me speak to something about what the universe is doing alongside what this person is doing, because Spirit would not bring a warning without also bringing a context that places the warning in its proper frame. What this person is doing is not going to work. That is the bottom line. It is not going to achieve what they intended to achieve. Not because the universe protects good people from all harm in some automatic, guaranteed sense, but because what they are attempting to build, a false version of you that undermines the real version, does not have the structural integrity to survive contact with the actual evidence of who you are over time. Truth is more durable than distortion. I have said this before in other readings, but it has never been more specifically applicable. The specific, particular truth of your character, demonstrated consistently through your actual behavior and your actual choices and your actual quality of engagement with the world is building a case on your behalf that this person simply cannot match with a constructed narrative. The narrative requires maintenance, requires sustained energy to keep plausible, requires the ongoing cooperation of people who accept it without examining it too carefully. And all of these requirements create vulnerabilities, cracks, places where the construction shows through. Those cracks are already appearing. And as they appear, as people in your orbit begin to notice the inconsistency between what has been said about you and what they actually observe of you, the narrative begins to lose its grip. As I bring this reading toward its close, I want to leave you with the essential message of everything that came through today. You are in a situation that requires awareness. There is someone in your environment who has been working against you with more intention and more sustained effort than you have known. Their motivation is envy. Their method is a distorted narrative placed strategically in influential spaces. Their goal is the diminishment of something in your life. They are not going to succeed. But your awareness of what is happening is the specific thing that most accelerates their failure. Because an aware Virgo is not a containable Virgo. An aware Virgo who continues to operate from the full, authentic, completely genuine expression of who they are while paying attention to what is actually happening around them is someone who systematically dismantles a false narrative simply by continuing to be real. That is your power in this situation. Not confrontation, not strategy, not the elaborate defense of your reputation, simply being fully, visibly, undeniably yourself, consistently, in every space you occupy. The truth of who you are is your greatest protection. It has always been, and it is more than adequate for what is being directed against you. Stay alert, stay grounded, stay fully yourself, and watch what happens when genuine integrity meets deliberate distortion. The integrity always wins. If this reading gave you something important today, please share it with a Virgo who needs to hear this. And leave me a comment below. Tell me how this landed. Tell me if this reading confirms something you have been sensing without being able to fully name. I read every single word you share. Every story matters to me, and I carry your energy with genuine care. Until next time, Virgo, you are protected by who you actually are, and who you actually are cannot be destroyed by someone else's story about you. Stay real, stay present, stay you. That is enough. It has always been enough.